What are your chances of pulling the 11th anniversary LRs? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We are back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are 4 days away from the start of Dokkan Battle's 11th anniversary. And in this video, we are going to be breaking down your odds of pulling one of the new LRs. In a previous video in our prep guide series, we took a look at who we expected to be on the Carnival banner and the Dokkan Fest banner, and knowing who's likely to be on each banner, we can now begin to discuss, right, what is the likelihood that we'll pull the unit that we want on this banner. The more, it doesn't have to be perfect who's on the banner, right? Because for most of us, the main draw here is going to be the new LR. So we're going to operate off of that. Now, for figuring out the likelihood here, we are going to operate off of the assumption that this is just like every other anniversary LR with a 10 unit banner. And 3+1s. Now, I'm going to do another video probably here in a day or so where we discuss the possibility of something better than a 3+1, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But knowing the chances of pulling the LR you want on this banner will play directly also into our next video where we will discuss the strategy for summoning the character you want, right? How do you best stack the odds in your favor? So let's go ahead and let's jump off of here. So like I said, we're going to operate off of a 10 featured unit banner. And thanks to the Dokkan Wiki, which has this handy dandy summon calculator, we can use this here. So we could see that the average, we basically have a set system depending on the type of banner we have. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and plug in our parameters here, right? We have a type of banner. We have guaranteed SSR, right? All banners, aside from most ticket banners nowadays, are guaranteed SSR, right? So we know that we have that. We're not going to operate off of guaranteed featured until we know for sure there is a guaranteed featured step, which we do not likely believe there is. And then the number of featured SSRs is going to be 10. And the number of unfeatured SSRs, we can figure that out by just kind of looking at the number here, right? So 300 was the number last anniversary. So if we actually come over here and just open up a new banner page here and just make sure that confirm that the most recent banners here, we'll go with the Dokkan Fest here, should have a similar number. All right, so slightly higher since last year, 313 unfeatured characters on the banner. So we can safely assume that it's going to be around that number. So 313 is what we're dealing with now here. All right, and then the percent of total featured and the percent of total unfeatured remains relatively consistent. It's always going to be the same, right? So where are we? 222. So it should be, yeah, feature rates 5%, right? And that's pretty common among these. So percent of featured SSRs is going to be 5, and then the rest is 95. It's actually a little less than that, but we're gonna work off of this. So summon details, we're going to be performing multi summons, and here we'll be able to plug in our summon however many summons we do, and that's going to be based off the number of stones that we have. Now, this is where it becomes important, like I've been harping on for the last 6 months, about you guys saving. Remember that during this campaign, since it is a major LR campaign, we, as you summon on the anniversary banners here, for the new units, you'll be collecting up Carnival pity coins or Dokkan Fest pity coins, and you will need should you fail to summon one of those, you will need 500 of those coins in order to exchange for the LR that you want. And so this is why it's important that you guys were saving up, because 500 coins equates to 2,500 stones, barring any trades you might do, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So all right, so let's start with just one multi, right? So if you walked into here, you had 50 stones and a dream, one multi. Let's just assume you're only concerned with the new LR, right? On either banner, let's just focus on one banner for now. We might say two, but we're going to stick with one single banner, right? And then so all we do is, all right, we're not worried about any of the unfeatured SSRs. So we click summon right. Yeah, so, all right. It should be about 4.8. This is the rates, and you can actually confirm this number by checking out the in-game news. It's about 4.8% for a single featured for a single featured unit that you might want, and the game rounds this up to 5%, but it's roughly 4.8%. So every single time you do a summon on a banner, you have a 5% chance to pull the featured unit you want. Not necessarily the unit you want, but the featured unit you want. So it's going to start at a 4.8% for the one specific character we want. Now that's just in one. So let's say we do a full round of 3+1s, 4 summons, right? All right, 4 summons for a full round. And the likelihood that we will have pulled the unit that we want is about 18%. Now, every roll, right? Every summon is always going to be that 4%, that 4.8%, that 5%, right? It doesn't increase your odds the more you do it, unless the game specifically does, right? Which, again, we'll talk about the chances of there being guaranteed featured steps, right? So unless it specifically says that, your odds aren't changing every single multi, right? However, the more multis you stack into it, the more you increase the likelihood that you will roll that 5%, right? So, right, in 4 summons, there's an 18% chance you will have rolled the 5% chance, if that makes sense, right? So it's not perfect, but it works a little like that. So let's say you came into the anniversary with about 1,000 stones, right? If you had been saving since December, right, and had been following my guides for collecting up the stones and whatnot for how many you could get, you should be around 1,000 stones, right? And so, right, in 1,000 stones, that's roughly, right, at 50 stones a multi here, right? That's roughly 20 multis, barring any free multis. So in 1,000 stones, you'll get how many? Each round is 150. So for 3 should be about 4. All right, 4 free rounds. So let's jump that up to 4 extra summons. So in 1,000 stones, right, you have a 69% likelihood you will have rolled the 5% chance to pull the LR you want. And again, that's just assuming the only character you want is the new LR character, right? Now, that can change, right? Like, let's say the character, it's not only the Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Let's just assume you're summoning on the Dokkan Fest banner, right? Let's assume it's not just the Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku you're interested in, but you also need the banner unit, right? Maybe the banner unit ends up being like super godlike and you want them too, right? So now we change this number here, right? And so in our summon rate here, now, right, we've increased the likelihood that we will have pulled one of the two. So we have a 90 in 1,000 stones, including the 3+1s. We have a 90% likelihood that we will have rolled a 5% for one of the featured unit. It's not guaranteed, right? There's still that 10% chance you might not roll it, but it could happen. And so this is why, again, it's important that you save and you save and you save leading up to the anniversary, because you want to stack that deck in your favor as much as you can. Now, the anniversary is giving almost, I think we calculated it out to just over 1,100 stones. So we're actually just going to go ahead and round up to about 12. So let's say 1,200 stones. So doing another 1,200 stones on top of what we already did, right? Like, let's just say you just went all in on this, right? So, okay, so that should be another 24, so 48 multis there, plus our 3+1s, which, you know, adding another 1,200 would give us another 5 multis there. So we're just gonna break it even, and let's just say in 50 multis, right? A little bit more, but so let's say 50 multis. So that's if you walked into here with 1,000 stones, if you walked into here with and spent every single stone you got on the banners, right? You're looking at a 99% likelihood you will have pulled. Again, well, actually, no, let's fix that. Sorry, we forgot to change this one, right? This is assuming we just want one of the LRs, whether it's the Carnival or the Dokkan Fest, whoever it ends up being, right? So there we go, 91% chance likelihood. Again, you're not increasing the actual odd each round, right? Each multi is still 5%, but in 2,200 stones, there's a 90% likelihood that you will have pulled that 5%. There's always a chance that it won't happen, right? But again, the more you roll, right, the more likely it is that you will have pulled it, right? It's just like flipping a coin, right? Statistically, every single time you flip that coin, there's a 50% chance it's going to be heads or tails. But the more you flip the coin, the more likely it is you're going to land on heads or tails, whichever one you're after, right? So it's about stacking the deck in your favor, okay? And then of course, this all just assumes there's only one unit you are after. But let's say, all right, let's just say you're feeling bold and you want to guarantee yourself both of these, right? So we're actually going to combine the statistics here. Let's see here. Right, so we're after, so we're going to have 20, right? We're going to combine them, right? The number of unfeatured doesn't change here, right? Because well, actually, the Carnival banners have a little bit more. Actually, if we go back here, let's actually pull up a recent Carnival banner. The Divine Dragon Carnival. Yeah, this one here. This is a good one. Right, so percent total feature 365, right? Because this will include yellow coin LRs. So 365 plus our 313. All right, so there's 600. Well, actually, no. Actually, we want to add the difference, right? Because that one actually wasn't changing. Right, so what is it? 365 minus 313, right? So there's a 52 card difference there. Because the unfeatured rate is the same. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. So 365, and it's a normal banner, right? Percents are still the same, right? Regardless. So that rate isn't going to change, right? But let's say, so in 50 multis across both banners, right? That doesn't matter, right? We're interested in pulling both of the LRs, and we are looking, right? Okay, did it actually change? Oh, I guess it doesn't. So it actually doesn't, because it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so percent of total featured, because this doesn't change no matter what you do. You're always going to have the same rate here. That makes sense. 91% chance you will have stacked the deck in your favor, right, for a 5% roll in 50 multis, which is about 2,000 stones, which, again, if you came in with that, is what you would expect. Now, if you came in with a little bit lower here, so let's just go back to our regular number. Let's use our Dokkan Fest number here. Right, let's say you came in with like 500 stones or something. That's obviously not good, but it's workable, right? So, but let's say you came in with 500 stones. Okay, so that's only 10 multis, right? And I think that's probably more realistic of what people are coming into, right? 63% chance that you will have pulled that 5%, if for one of the two, right? If you're only after one, right, that lowers the number to about 39%, right? So it's, again, it's no guarantee, but this is the understanding the likelihood of pulling here, I think, is going to help in when we talk about our next video, which is how you should structure your summons, right? How do you strategize your summons to get the most out of them, right? How do you guarantee success, knowing that this is what you're dealing with, right? This is a gotcha, right? So you're not guaranteed a single thing, but there are ways to set yourself up for success, knowing the chances of pulling the characters you want. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know how many stones are you rolling into the 11th anniversary with, right? What do you think your chances are going to be of pulling the new LRs? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.